Aloha, welcome to my culminating task. This is Kello Yulani, voice overing the process. All right, so to give a little context, the person I was observing or working with was a long-term sub in the community-based instruction program. Again, these are students who are special educational service students, but they are not on your typical degree track. They are on actually certificated life school goal track. And so this person was a first time long term sub and really needed help. So that's why I decided to help them out and work with them. And so of course went through the process of emailing them after we did talk about it in person. Wanted to make that follow up. And so we did that. We met on September 18th and 2025 at 12 p.m. Reason I met on Zoom was also because it was a no student day. So and as long term sub, they did not need to show up on campus. And so the best way was to meet on Zoom. During our Zoom meeting, we talked about what day that would be best to observe. And so September 24th was a good day because there was nothing stopping me from observing and nothing um delaying anything on my end, especially. And so we talked about what was the task I had. So the students will be mainly working individually. Um, the goal that the teacher wanted to set was because they did care about how the school wants us teachers, no matter what grade level, what content, to meet these three focuses: daily learning target, callable talk, and consistent check for understanding. And so that was our kind of like our goal. It was like, let's try to do that and see what we can do in the CBI level. So we did a learning target where they're going to be working independently and with educators to complete assigned problems in their worksheet packet. Um, then accountable talk normally and typically in a normal gen eds area, yes, is normally where the students are working with each other. But because these are students, this is freshmen or first year CBI students. So, and because it was only first quarter, the students were not yet comfortable or self-regulated enough to help each other yet. And because it was independent work originally, the only way it was with the teacher or educator assistants. And how we decided that was we went through, we'll go through a self-correction checklist with the educators. And so the checklist looked like something like, hey, in the direction, did you do everything? Quality and completeness, did I answer all the questions thoroughly or are there blanks? Confident, am I confident in my answers? And so they will have to reread using a different pen or color pencil or some kind of other writing utensil that is not in the same color as what they're using. So if they're using a pencil, they're gonna have to find a different color. To checkmark themselves, to answer any blank questions. Of course, going through the checklist. And then we went into the teacher strategy. So the teacher post a learning target, clarify to students, accountable talk, so set clear expectations on especially on how to ask for help, how to self-correct. And then of course, some suggestions was circulate and monitor the progress, conduct individual check-ins if have to, guide the students individually in self-corrections if needed, and figure out a plan for struggling students with EAs. So it's kind of like those talking points. Then we went to the actual observation to where here are the notes right here that I did. Did I see the learning target? Yes. Accountable talk. There was some, but could be better. And check for understanding, there was some as well, but of course. And then how I did it was key takeaways. So like praise, what I noticed, one effective practice, and all those things, and then probing questions, suggestions. That's how we do it with our West Ed focus and how the West Ed approaches us. So I did it in that same format. And one actionable step was possibly working with inclusive coach and sped coach on how to make the suggestions possible, especially in the CBI program. Next, then in our conversation, Um, we went through the teacher strategy checklist and what to see or what to do. So got to speak upon. So we checked off what we did. So I said we did the posting of the learning target, clarified the students, set clear expectations. The how to self correct. That part I saw a lot of students not be a little confused. So that was something that we thought like maybe that's something we should work on. Guiding the students individually in self correction. There was a lot of that, but however, how we were doing it was could be better and could be clearer. Went through the praises, went through the probing questions, went to some, questions that answers, questions to consider, include the other coaches, answer before the next coaches to answer this and another more questions. And so, yeah, so that's how we got individual next steps is to collaborate with the SPED and inclusion coaches for better approaches, especially for CBI students, because we know we cannot directly instruct them like a gen ed class. So we need it a little bit more and maybe a little bit more manageable. And then we continue talking about more of the suggestions and all those different things. And then of course, I felt in my reflection, I feel like it went well, considering this is my first time doing it, but I knew I could do better on how to support these of their CBI. Like I could have done some of the proactive work, but I knew that of course I could do it around my schedule at this moment. And then some challenges was figuring out how to be a support in the CBI area and especially how to do things in a more independent work while still fitting the school's directives and focuses. And then of course, right here, Kamaka felt like it was very good. She understand the goal. So this was her reflections and all those things and where she felt like it could be better, where it could be what went well. And so yeah, so that's pretty much it for the most part of the process. Um, of course, I know this is in the retrospect of this, it is my first time doing all of this. So I know that there is always room for improvement. There's always room to do better and really honestly continue to improve my coaching style and to be a little bit more supportive in all areas. Um, Especially if I do decide to go support the SPED side or even in the Gen Ed side, ways I can continue to grow. So I definitely appreciated going through this process and understanding what my coaches go through on a daily basis and to just get a little of their perspective. And so that is my spill on everything. And I just want to say thank you and aloha.